on this somewhat cool afternoon in Southern California. Welcome to the Bisimoto Tech2sDay show on this 1st of April, where we have the opportunity to discuss everything technology. As you can see, I posted earlier on a very crazy project up there, which is right there in the making. So thank you so much for your input and all the fun stuff as well. Adam Millionaire, good afternoon, sir. How are you doing, Adam? Hopefully you're doing well. My greetings to the family indeed. And I have many of you here direct and center on Instagram. I have YouTube live here with a few people on board as well. TikTok is alive and well, and also the podcast networks through Spotify. So thank you so much for joining. And Brett Walker, thank you for giving me my #1 gifter badge on this particular Tuesday. Heathrow Holmes says, hi, BC, my brother from Obuduku. Wow, Heathrow is from Obuduku. That's where I'm from. That's my hometown in Idato local government area, section of Imo State in Nigeria, West Africa. Thank you so much, brother. Ndewo, no, thank you so much. Hazel May 547 is hitting the ground running, asking for that he has a question. Please do share. I'm here to help. Keep up the great work, Kyle Coffee says. And I'm having some kind of weird challenge here, but I think I'm running with my podcasting, so forgive my lack of attention here for a quick second. Where's the 935 kV, says Bellside Promo 32 GTR. Right now, it's in Culver City. I'm on display at Brixton Forged. That's where it is right now. Let's see here. Jaros Valdez is asking, I'm gonna have to start tuning in. Always great things from Bisimoto. Thank you so much. We have a lot of fun here. As you can see, I'm surrounded by some amazing projects. There's a Kolani Utah 8 right there. There's a Honda Odyssey up there as well. There's an EV Rolls Royce. We have a lot of cool things here going on in the facility. Quite nice indeed. Hazel May 547 saying, I have seen your Tesla around Hacienda Heights, and I was wondering what is done to it and how much power it's making. So let me know which one you're referring to. Is it the Model 3 or the Model S? So my kids don't go to school in Hacienda Heights, so that's the reason why you may see me there. The Model 3 I haven't driven quite a while. That one is factory setup with airbag system and a cargo box on top. However, my Model S Plaid, which is right here next to me, there's a parachute, you can see right here. It belongs to the Tesla Model S Plaid. I refuse to touch the inverter or the vehicle control unit because it's still tethered to the Tesla mothership and they tend to send updates from time to time. Everything I've done from a performance perspective has been under the guise of free horsepower, meaning weight reduction. So I partnered with a good friend from Unplugged Performance out in the Hawthorne area next to SpaceX. And they were able to supply their wonderful lightweight wheels. They were able to supply some lightweight suspension components as well. Here in the house, we updated the interior front seats, which are quite heavy with all the creature comforts of ventilated seats and heating seats and airbags and all that madness, with 2 Momo wraparound safari style seats, which saved lots of double-digit weight savings on each particular seat, which helped a ton. Tire-wise, I took off the Michelins and went with the Toyo R888Rs, which are quite sticky as well. And with that, because I started running, close to 6.0 in the 8th mile at Urbandale, I got kicked out. So they had me put a parachute, which I got one from Simpson, using an Unplugged Performance parachute mount. So I hope that helps, and thank you so much. So Doors Horse says, I put a high pressure ACL oil pump in my turbo D16 build. Now there's a turbo force out leak from my compressor inlet on my 2971R. I have a 0.038 restrictor and the turbo pressure is too high. There is a way to solve it. A very good way to solve your challenge, because above and beyond the orifice size, which limits the amount of fluid going to it, it doesn't really change the pressure. If anything, a restriction is akin to you having a water hose, and the water hose is flowing, right? This amount of water and pressure, you put your finger on it and restrict it, you see the pressure goes even higher, and many times can overwhelm seals in turbos, whether you're ball bearing or even journal. The way to do that is to use something known as an OPR. It's an oil pressure relief valve that is sold by TurboSmart. We have it on all the 935s here. I have it on my wagon up front. That particular setup, not only does it allow you to supply fresh, consistent oil to your turbos, it bypasses and allows your turbo not to experience very high pressure with or without a restrictor. And that OPR, that oil pressure regulator, by the way, is what it's called. And if you need some, we have them in stock. I can give you a good deal. I think I have a Gen 1 here. Send me a DM, the Doors Horse, and I'll see what I can do to help you out as much as I can, maybe with a partial sponsorship on the OPR. But this relief valve, it feeds your turbos proper oil pressure. And you know, our Hondas are notorious, and that's a good thing, for very high pressures, especially when cold. So let's say you're running a 530 or 1040 weight in your turbo setup, and you're showing 80 PSI, you may be at 120 in your turbos. It doesn't like that at all. While the OPR will bring it down to even a nice healthy 40 PSI at all times or thereabouts. So use that and you won't have any challenges at all. Thank you so much, Ryan, for the #1 gifter badge as well on TikTok. Appreciate the gesture. Makes me feel great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's see here. Would you put an oil restrictor on the turbo feed line in the block or cut the oil pan baffling? Neither. Doors Horse, I would do what I've typically done here, and I use a Turbo Smart OPR, oil pressure regulator, because it gives you a appropriate amount of pressure without overwhelming the seals in your turbocharger. So I hope that helps. Let me know, I'm here to help. Would I run with a restrictor or remove the restrictor to run this? I typically run a restrictor because you can do it either way. You can do a stepwise approach, running without a restrictor monitor. But on some of my builds, I think in particular on the 935 we have over here, I ran a slight restrictor and also OPR, and it really did a good job in supplying appropriate amount of oil without crazy pressures. But stepwise approach is not a bad thing. Start off without a restrictor and OPR, see how your oil situation goes. If it's still there, add a restrictor, and you should be good to go. But that is your solution. Once again, let me know, and hopefully I can help you, because I think I do have a few of those in stock. All right, sad I missed you at Laverne Car Meet, but hopefully you'll see you again soon, says Ryan. Yes, he's referring to the one at Bonita High, which I assume that you were talking about 2 weeks ago. We had a car show, so much variety, from lots of American domestic cars, beautiful in nature, by the way, to some Japanese imports. There's a very clean RX-7 with a peripheral ported 13B. Of course, there are a couple of Porsches there, mine being the Mobi 935, and also there was a 914, really clean on display as well. It's really good. It's really good indeed. Lambda Menace is asking, have you unlocked the hidden N boost mode in the Ioniq? What I have done is I've used the standard RGB. And when you press it for 10 seconds, it gives you an additional boost. If there's a hidden N boost mode, I have not seen it, and I need to look into that, because that's a cool Easter egg. I love Easter eggs in cars. I build them, and I put them in every car we build for customers. This has a few Easter eggs. That's gonna have a ton. That has some as well. That's some other cars that we're working on right now. I'm working on 3 performance vehicles this morning, going back and forth. They all have like little Easter eggs in it. If that's the case, I would love to explore that. That should be really, really good. Hi, BC, says our berry guy, asking what's new work going on. Well, you can see there's a white Odyssey up there. I posted that. You see Nick is right there running around, and we're working on it. There are 2 other vehicles that we're working on over there. There's one I'm tidying up the wiring quite nicely. It's a red 930. There's another silver 930 I'm working on right now. I'm buttoning things up, and we have a crazy hypercar that we plan on making 1,300 horsepower on. That's here as well. Lambda Menace, you'll send me a sequence. Let me know. I need to get one of those cars back and have fun. Oh, a white Odyssey, says Luigi. Yes, if you look at my post today on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, I gave a little hint of what we have going on with it. It's pretty freaking cool. BC, big up, says RyFab Garage. Thank you, RyFab, on YouTube. Appreciate the kind words and gesture. And thank you so much for joining the Bisimoto Tech Tuesday on this somewhat cold Tuesday morning in Southern California. Damn, says Luigi. Thank you so much. The car behind you looks like a Speed Racer car, says our berry guy. Yes, we got that a lot. Look at that. It looks like the Mark V from Speed Racer. It's actually what is known as the Utah 8 from Kalani. Luigi Kalani was, and he's no longer with us, but he was a very, very accomplished designer. Memory serves me correctly, he is German, but identified as Italian. He did everything from cups to toilets to automobiles to motorcycles, you name it. And this is actually one of 3 Colinis we're playing with. This one initially had a BMW petrol motorcycle engine, and we updated it to a proper electric power plant with 300 horsepower, terrifying to drive. I had this at SEMA last year. People watching me like, man, that thing is fast, and it was. It's pretty crazy, pretty crazy. I almost took myself out with this thing. It's really fast and a lot of fun indeed. How can I apply for a job with you guys, says Sal52. Very easy. Send us your resume to sales@bisimoto.com. Once again, sales@bisimoto.com, and that's it. Is the Odyssey still your collection, says 310 Mark 7? Yes, it is. I still have the beautiful burgundy Odyssey. SCNAT gave me my second gift badge. Thank you so much for that opportunity. Appreciate that indeed. Looks like a Mark 5, also says right Fab Garage. Yep, it has that look to it. It looks really, really nice. Bringing back fun memories of speed racing. Really cool indeed. Let's see here. What's up, BC? Says Premier Turbo. Long time no see. Good seeing you, brother. Thank you so much for joining Tech Tuesday. So hopefully you're staying warm here in Southern California. It's going to be cool for the next few days. I think we have winds starting up in about an hour, which would carry high winds into mid tomorrow. So they're asking us to be very careful when driving. The wind is supposed to be so vicious that it can help uproot trees. So if you're in the Southern California area, please stay safe out there. Drive very defensively. Tie down things that may fly away around your house. It's going to be a very interesting next few days. Hey BC, can we see the wagon? Says BT Dalok. Well, forgive me BT, but I have a huge kind of array of equipment here. It'd be kind of hard for me to grab everything and go to where the wagon is over there. I can do a video maybe later on and showcase some of the cool things in the wagon. The wagon is something that I am planning, to be honest with you, on doing like a giveaway with. So what I have planned in the works is to be able to put the wagon together and do some content around it to show you guys where, you know, all the accoutrements and benefits of the vehicle, because any one of you could win it with just purchasing maybe some apparel or some kind of, or buying, you know, certain tickets. So it should be pretty good. So for the price of a ticket or even just entering, you can be able to win the Bisimoto all-wheel drive boosted sequential gearbox setup, you know? Sales52 says, okay, send my resume to sales@bisimoto.com. Yes. Thank you so much. Stefanisonization. Good seeing you. Thanks so much for joining. Is your shop open for people to see your projects, says BT the Loc? Not at this time. We have a lot of projects here. Some of them are quite secretive. Some involve OEMs as well. So at this point, as we sit, even post-May, we will be open to be able to show people around, because a lot can you know, show up. What's the gray ride? Looks sharp. Let me see. Which one do you refer to as gray? There's white here. There's a chalk white Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow electric there. There is a white 2025 Odyssey S, so Sport. Right there, I'm pointing to right there, is a VW bus, performance electric as well. So quite a few. Yep, chalk white indeed, Brian, you're correct. That is a Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow with 600 horsepower and about 64 kilowatt hours of battery, which should be able to give me north of 240 mile range. Also has fast charging courtesy of CCS1. And so it's a really fun startup. I'm just not too happy with it because you see I haven't really done much content on it because that interior is in a bit of disarray. It's not quite proper. So I'm going to try and get that taken care of. And then once that's done, the vehicle will be out and about, having a lot of fun and showing our capabilities. Do a K3 Crema Porsche with a twin turbo V12, says our berry guy. That could be a quite pretty penny project. At this point, I can give you this insight that we actually have about half of your desires to be accomplished in the next few months. So we have a K3 Crema with a twin turbo, 3.6 liter air-cooled setup. So it won't be a V12, it'll still be a flat six, but it'll be unlike anything that we've ever done. It'll be the most technologically advanced petrol 935 we've ever had in our facility. And possibly, dare I say, the most advanced air-cooled engine that's boosted that may have existed on this planet. We'll see in a few months. It should be pretty exciting. Pretty exciting indeed. Got any headers for a J32 Insight? No, I did not, right, Fab? So sorry. When you doing more Honda stuff, says Dave H. World. And aloha to you as well, Mr. Kai Kai, all the way from YouTube. And courtesy of the United Kingdom, we have Dave H. World. Thank you so much for joining as well. To answer your question, Dave H. World, I've been doing Honda stuff continuously. Last SEMA, we built a wonderful Honda Prologue that was showcased in the SEMA's Future Tech booth. Up here, right in the frame I'm in now, that is a new Honda project right there. 2025 Honda Odyssey. I'm building Honda stuff, so never went away, keep doing it. Consider me like the Jay Leno of performance builds, where I love Kolanis and Rolls Royces and Hondas, and there's a Caterham right there, and a Tesla right here next to me, a Porsche next. I love it all. If it's fun, it can go fast, I'm all about it. Awesome, says Brian Pork. Thank you so much. Thank you also for joining Daniel on TikTok. Appreciate you. Be good to see you do a Honda stream. A Honda stream, as in streaming Honda, or an automobile called a stream. Let me know. Appreciate the kind gesture nonetheless. Hello, Stefan Zonization. Let's see here. If you're going to do that giveaway, count me in. I'll buy the whole shop. My dad loves your wagon. Thank you. BTD, I should say BTD the Loke. By all means, I wish you luck. I hope you win it because it's really an enjoyable setup. It's just chock full of amazing technology. For example, it has drive-by-wire. Have you seen a Civic wagon with drive-by-wire that's EE based? Has that. Fully built sleeve block, K24, Z7, one of my favorite ones. A proper G series Garrett turbo, full billet, new aerodynamics. Purol is the oil that feeds its veins, very stable compound, does wonderful things for longevity and power and also protection. Has a sequential gearbox courtesy of Quaife, which works amazingly well and has that cool shifter and all that fun stuff. Action clutch is on board to be able to provide a twin disc clutch for that, so it's really, really cool. Has a digital dash from AEM like the CD5 one, so it makes you feel like you're in a proper race car, which is good. The interior is quite nice. It's a combination of like leather and like almost like some denim inserts as well. With my friends from SOS Customs did a whole bespoke interior with even their own custom pillows. How cool is that? Then my good friend from Fox Designs has this wood grain insert that he put inside, and also the hanger from the rearview mirror. It has a 5-point cage that allows you to detach it in case you want to have ease of in and out. You can remove the driver's side cage structure. It's really cool and it looks awesome. Wheel-wise, it has 1552 wheels with turbo fans in the back, paying nods to British touring of yore when different Accords race there, and there's a lot of fun. It's just so good. It's a great vehicle. Hate to see it leave our stable. However, sitting in our showroom doesn't help anyone. It needs to be out there being enjoyed. So I'll provide one of you the unique opportunity for exploring that. Sofa King Prime gave my #2 gifter badge. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I've been a fan since the 700 horsepower Syncam wagon. In early 2000, says Pigeon SIL40. Thank you so much. That wagon was fun to drive and fun to build as well, and broke a lot of hearts and pissed a lot of people off. Was one of the most popular builds on Honda Tech at the time, and some people admired it. Other people said it was nonsense and BS. I'm glad to see that so many people have now believed in the technology from Bisimoto and have replicated it and improved on it using bigger turbochargers, right? So now there are people who have taken that same ingredient or that same recipe that we built the D series with, and instead of running a 66mm turbo, they go with a 72 or 75. And they made 800 horsepower on that stuff. So it's great. Exact same thing, just bigger turbo. So we were way ahead of the curve then back in the day. And it's so funny to think how people were attacking Bisimoto and not believing what we're creating. And now it's like the staple. It's like the perfect ingredients. And it was our first time exploring an in-house turbo build. And we had that much technology come out and do well. So thank you for the kind words. Appreciate that indeed. Pigeon SIL40. Thank you. All right, what did I miss here? Did interest come at Auto Race in Poland? No, I haven't spoken with anyone there. Very excited to see what you did with the Odyssey, says Gray Lynn 3. Thank you so much, appreciate that. Yep, it's right there. I'm sure a lot of people will be shocked and pleasantly surprised at what we have going on with that project up there. I made it, what's up, Ashen Campbell? Ashen, just saying hello to all of you, my friends and family. Talked a little bit about the wagon that we have in the house that we plan on doing a giveaway with. Talked a little bit about the Odyssey right there that's on top. That's like a new upcoming project with JD, with Jordan Distributors. We have this right here, the Utah 8. I talked about the couple Porsches I'm working on. There's one beautiful 930. Client's name is Jeremy, great guy. Beautiful car. This is one of the cleanest 930s I've ever seen in my life. And just doing some tidying up with some of his factory wiring because it's kind of untidy. And I'm super anal, so as I've overlaid a lot of my harness into the chassis, I've seen some opportunities where some people kind of use some weird butt connectors. I'm just trying to make it really pretty for him because the interior and the wiring needs to be at the same level as the car because it's a beautiful vehicle. So I want to make sure my client is taken care of. I'm not charging him for that. I just want to make sure he's okay. So it's good. Should be good indeed, you know? Austin Knight from YouTube. Hello, Austin. Thanks for joining. I hope you got my email early on today. BC, we ever do a Ferrari build? Asked Gamma Squeeze. Yes. It's so weird. There was a Ferrari, a local chapter of a Ferrari club that had an event this past Sunday. And as I drove the Porsche 935 from Porsche Ontario, they had their Cars and Coffee, I drove home and I was just surrounded with these awesome Ferraris all over the place. There were, you know, there was like a 308 and I saw a Testarossa and there's also a 457 and a 458, 488. There are all these nice, so many of them are red. It's kind of weird, but it was cool. And I'm like, wow, it'd be nice, tender girl, it'd be nice if I built a classic Ferrari, infused some modern tech, just doing what I typically do and make them a lot of fun. The challenge is, Gamma Squeeze, a lot of the project builds I have are because I have a relationship with the OEM. So like the Honda one, I've worked with American Honda, wow, since the late 90s, I've raced for them and built my first car in 2010 for American Honda that launched at the SEMA show. I went to a ton of auto shows as well. I do a lot with Porsche. They were kind enough to allow me to exhibit two of my cars in their 75th anniversary at the Peterson for over a year. Above and beyond that, the head of marketing at Tesla used to be at Hyundai, and I've worked at Hyundai for many years in a PR capacity and building cars for them as well. And as you see, I've done so many reviews. Even last week, I had a Ioniq 5N here, which is amazing, and I talked a little bit about that as well, and all the advantages of that. So long story or long answer to a short question, I'd love to be able to build a Ferrari, but it would be much nicer if we had a relationship with the manufacturer and did stuff with them, build something new and something old. And I'm so open to it. Open indeed, you know? What do you think about these Coyote platforms? Can the game lately? So J6, S2K, I think they're great. They're becoming very cost effective in terms of an option for a crate motor. They have a lot of potential, make so much power. I love them. And I'm seeing them in a lot of classic Bronco builds, which is pretty cool. There's nothing that I love more than like a retro mod with modern technology infused in a classic vehicle where we celebrate the beauty of the classic car, but also embrace modern technology. Because as much as I love old cars, I'm not a fan of old tech at all. So it's perfect. I think it's great. It's great. I think the more they merrier. All right. Is that a Mark V, says Jogan? No, it is what is known as the Kalani Utah 8. Right here behind me is now fully electric, single seater, terrifying to drive, lots of fun. Has a small drive unit in the rear that's integrated with an inverter, motor, and also transaxle. The chassis is reinforced to handle the rigors of the power that it has right now. I'm doing some modifications to the lights, and plus, it's really slammed. So what I'm trying to do is incorporate a lift system in this. So I'm waiting for this component to come from Australia. Once that's done, I'm gonna put a lift system in here, have that all buttoned up, and I'll do some content and show you how much fun this thing is before it goes back to the client. So it should be pretty good. I'd love to have an aero atom or something, but with a stability control. Very possible, Gamma Squeeze, it can happen. Do you think we'll ever see an aftermarket stability control? They do exist. A lot of Honda even has some stability control built into the software, which you could use an area atom. But yeah, it is very possible to do that. There are so many other PDUs that can help you do it. You can get something bespoke made, there are companies out there. Yeah, it exists. It exists indeed. Also, if you have a proper engine management solution, you can incorporate that into your protocol without qualm. Speaking of Hondas, how's the all-wheel drive EG drag car? Which one are you referring to? We have quite a few. If you're talking about the most recent one, there's the yellow one that Carlos put together. It will be, I think it will be launched right in time for JCCS coming up at Queen Mary latter part of this year. I thought it was only traction controls. Didn't know that control also existed in aftermarket. Yes, there's everything from a standard traction control units that can use to those incorporated engine management solutions to full standalone Bosch units, which are pretty penny, that exist as well. But when you talk about anything to do with stability control, it's above and beyond traction control, whether it's wheel to wheel or slew rate. It also has to do with suspension control, which a lot of them are electronic. So like, for example, I just spoke about the Ioniq 5N that came last week from Hyundai. It has this amazing stability control, which can also stiffen or soften the suspension based upon demand. So whether you want something that is more track prone, or you want something that's really soft for the street, or you want to be able to make sounds on the street and have the sporty nature of the motor and controller, but with a softer suspension so it can be comfortable, you can do all that fun stuff. So stability control can be a lot more than just traction control. It could also include your suspension and how stiff or soft it is, or how it reacts to undulations on the road. My wife wants one, pretty penny expensive. What car is that? Where I'm surrounded by John Jones from TikTok is a Utah 8 Kalani, a 2025 Honda Odyssey, 1974 Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. And this little, I don't think you see, but this right here I'm tapping is actually a parachute on a Model S Plaid that we have here in the facility. My pleasure indeed, Gemma Squeeze says, thank you, BC. My pleasure, my pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you so much for the questions and the interaction. Nice RW t-shirt, bro, says Maggie63. Thank you for the kind gesture, but opposed to this being an RWB build, this is actually a 935 77A. Very similar to what we have right here with Action Clutch. It is a Porsche 935 factory body. Very different from RWB. I don't know if you know if Nakai was born when these came out, but nonetheless, I'm a huge fan of 935s. I love the boxy look of Group 5 cars. And so we do a great job in being able to service and also provide tribute vehicles that are 935 in nature. So it's pretty cool. What's your favorite EMS for Honda, says Dorse Horse. I hope I'm saying the proper, is it the Dorse Horse or Theodor's Horse? Anyway, nonetheless, I have been a huge advocate of pretty much what I use here, which is the AEM Infinity. That's my favorite EMS for Honda. I love those things because it gives me the ability to explore a motorsports ECU at a sportsman price. Now, unfortunately for us, that particular ECU is no longer easily available. So I'm starting to look into another company. I don't know if I should really talk too much about it until I explore their wares, but I can give you a hint that is Australian in nature. So as much as I love the AM Infinity, very soon I may have a different choice based upon what's currently available in the market. Now, Honda is very popular, and I like those for the newer gen Honda. So if I'm looking at something like the Odyssey that's up there, excuse me, or the newer Civic SIs or Type Rs, I tend to lean a lot more towards the Honda Flash Pro, which allows us full control of the factory ECU, even flex fuel capability. And as you can imagine, OEMs put millions of dollars into their ECU programs. So being able to use a Flash program to take advantage of all the capabilities of those ECUs help a lot. But when it comes to something old school and full race trim, I really prefer standalone ECUs. And this other ECU that I'm looking at that starts with an E and based in Australia is something I'm looking at, and I'll give you guys feedback as I play with it indeed. I thought it was only traction. Okay, no, sorry, messed up there, forgive me. It was great meeting at the Bonita High School, says Lemon72C10. The Porsche was amazing, thank you so much. The one thing about that I noticed with Bonita High School is, even though the kids love the Mobi, I think the older guys are really into the older domestics. So it's kind of interesting. I got more questions from kids about that build and very few from elderly people, which was strange because they had a lot of cars and the Mobi X is put together quite nicely. I expected to see more older people ask questions about it, but the kids came by and they thought it was cool. They asked me questions, loved the fact that it was electric, loved the fact that its 0 to 60 was sub 2 or close to 2 seconds. It was great, it was great, it was great. Can you tell me how the Wastegate spring PSI and ECU PSI works? Says Paradu. Great question. I'll be more than happy to share with you how Wastegate spring and the ECU PSI works. Okay. A wastegate is a device, as the name implies, that is just a door or a gate that opens up to bleed out excess exhaust gases before the turbo to prevent the turbo from overspooling or creating a boost level that you don't find appealing. Now, that may sound like a lot of rubbish if you're not really in tune with how turbos work. So I'll give a little bit of synopsis of how the turbocharger works and how a wastegate can help regulate boost or pressure or even power for you. And then how does an ECU come into play to help regulate that even further? A turbocharger is in essence a glorified pump. And in any internal combustion engine, the key to making more power is to get as much air as possible safely into the engine with the appropriate amount of fuel. And when I say safely, depending on how much pressure or mass flow rate and what temperature that air goes into the engine. And also appropriate amount of fuel because you definitely don't want to run lean and hurt the motor. A turbocharger is a two-phase pump where it has one side, which is compressor housing, and I wish I had a turbo here to show it to you. I do, but I don't want to walk away too long. One side is a compressor housing, which is nice silver, and the other side is the exhaust housing, which is a turbine. There's a cog or a pole that exists between the compressor wheel and the exhaust wheel. When you create exhaust gases from your internal combustion engine, that in turn goes through the turbine, and that turbine has more like a turbine wheel or like a fan wheel inside of it. So as the air goes around it through the exhaust and evacuates your engine bay, that wheel that's turned is cogged to a compressor wheel on the other side that is on a compressor that pulls atmospheric air and pushes into your engine. The more exhaust you create, the more pressure is built into the engine. It makes more power, creates more exhaust, creates more air, creates more exhaust, creates more air. If you do not regulate that, you will have a runaway situation where either the turbo overspin and grenade, or you'll blow your engine up sky high from overboosting. So, how do you regulate how much air keeps going to your engine to create more exhaust, to create more boost, to create more exhaust, to create more intake boost, to create more exhaust? You waste out excess exhaust gases. So if you limit how much exhaust gases are turning on the wheel, you can limit how much that wheel is cogged to compressor and keeps pushing air into your engine. So what you do is you put a device known as a wastegate in between the exhaust manifold flange and your turbo. So when you evacuate some of the excess exhaust gases that are created by the engine, it limits how much the exhaust turbine is turning, which is directly cogged to the compressor wheel, which limits how much air goes into your engine, limiting boost and power. Now, what the wastegate spring does is it takes a reference from the intake on how much boost you want to provide, and then opens up said gate. So if you have a 10 PSI spring, what that means is there's a reference port on top of the wastegate that has a diaphragm that is directly connected to the intake manifold. That intake manifold sees a certain amount of boost pressure. When it sees 10 PSI coming from the turbo because it's closed and spooling, it then sends a signal to the diaphragm. The spring is now overcome by the 10 PSI of boost, and it pushes down and opens up the gate and evacuates the excess gas. So it stays at 10 PSI. Now, where does the ECU come into play? The ECU can have a device, many times it's known as an electronic boost control solenoid, which is a small motorized solenoid that, think of it as a tap to a faucet, like a faucet tap, like you open a faucet and close it, right? But imagine opening and closing the faucet using electronics. So the solenoid is a device that the boost reference can go into. I'm making it very simplified because there's so many different ways of doing this, of skinning this cat. Imagine that boost reference of 10 PSI coming from the intake manifold that goes to the wastegate and opens it up when it sees 10 PSI. Imagine having a solenoid that interrupts that line. If it flows all the way through, you get 10 PSI. But if you close that electronically slightly all the way, it can mimic or tell the wastegate no pressure is coming in and create even more boost. And then when the ECU sees, let's say, 15 PSI, and that's what you program to look like, that faucet or tap can open up and kind of regulate it at 15 PSI. So now you have a 15 PSI setup, 20, sometimes 25, sometimes even 3 times to 30 PSI setups. using a wastegate that's much softer. Now, what's the benefit of that? You can get away with having high boost pressures to allow traction, to allow you to launch better, to make the car more stable and more drivable. Imagine having a car that's 30 PSI all the time. It can be undrivable, not a lot of fun. But if you have 10 PSI in first gear, second gear, you have 12 PSI, third gear, 15, and by fifth, sixth gear, you're at 30, it can make a very enjoyable setup. You can do boost by speed, where speed reference is into the ECU, and it also regulates that boost control solenoid or that tap I talked about. So hopefully that gives you some insight on how a wastegate works. It is great. Maybe next week we'll talk about blower valves, because that's another section that does a lot more with retaining the safety and longevity of a turbo than limiting boost, even though some people have used wastegates as blower valves to regulate pressure as well. But we'll get into that maybe next week. So hopefully that helps. AWD, DSM, FTW gave me my number 3 gifter badge on TikTok. Thank you so much for the kind words and gesture. Appreciate that indeed. Let's see. Oh, I missed so many great questions here. Please forgive me because I was talking so much about wastegates and how those work. Ferrari seems like they're very strict about mods. They are. I've heard rumors where they wouldn't even sell to certain enthusiasts that are known for modifying. So maybe that's not the marquee I need to be around. I think the Raging Bull, AKA Lamborghini, is more open-minded to modifications than the Prancing Horse, AKA Ferrari. Another question for you, says Gamma Squeeze. Do you think we'll ever see aftermarket stability control? It already exists. We do have it. It exists already. And there are many companies that make them already. Bosch has a very high-end one, which can do everything from suspension to ABS to traction. Engine management solutions have been doing that. As far back as Series 1 with AEM, which I drag race with, there's a slew rate control where you can monitor and limit by fuel cut, ignition cut, or the combination of the two, the acceleration rate of a car based upon RPM over time. And I did that successfully. I was hitting 160 foots all day, all night with a wheelie bar with that. It was great. It worked quite well. The Series 2 also took that into control and did a little bit of wheel-to-wheel, and definitely Infiniti had both slew and wheel-to-wheel traction control. So they does exist. They do. Gamma Squeeze, thank you for the great question indeed. Appreciate your support and input. Do you need a sharp driver? Unfortunately, Ashton Campbell, not at this time, but that may change any day, any minute now. I'll let you know. What's the next event you're attending that's close to Ontario? BTD, the log. I'm thinking about the Cars and Coffee. I'm not sure yet, but I'm thinking about the Cars and Coffee at the Riverside Porsche this coming Saturday. I'm thinking about it. I may have to travel this weekend, so I'm not too sure. But yes, that's what I'm thinking about as we speak. Hey, BC, says Adam, how do you say that? Adam Michelle 08. You were a huge inspiration to me when I built my first Honda. Thank you so much, appreciate it. And Adam, thank you so much for my number 2 gifter badge as well. And for Cody CRX, also on TikTok, for sharing a number 1 gifter badge. I appreciate the kind words and gestures indeed. Do you still sell oil products at your location, says Youngster323. Yes, I do. I have Pure Oil. I have lots of 020, lots of break-in oil as well, a little bit of 1040, I believe. But yeah, we still do. Pure Oils is my lubricant of choice. Aerospace-based oil with technology that is amazing. I have not seen compounds this amazing anywhere in the industry, and I'm very proud to be partnered with them. They're just great people, so thank you so much. Hi, I'm Hung, says, what's up, BC? Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Can you make a workaround of live of the Porsche if the owner allows? Yes, if the owner allows me, yes. As a matter of fact, before any car leaves us with the owner's permission, I do a video around it and talk a little bit about some of the technology we infuse in. So thank you so much. Odyssey 05 gave me a number 1 gifter badge. Thank you. Trade Tech Talk gave me a number 3 gifter badge. Audi 05 also gave me a number 2 one as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys. Appreciate that indeed. Best builds ever, says Broly 1980. Thanks for the kind words. I am not an island. My builds come to fruition because of my amazing team here. And this year is no exception. You can just see from an empty engine bay there, some amazing stuff is coming. There's a couple cars in paint right now for clients. It's going to be a great year. Tough, but great indeed. What's that Speed Racer's car? XD, says Boy Toy Click. It is a Kalani Utah 8 owned by the Caretakers Collection. That thing is terrifying to drive, 300 horsepower and a very lightweight tube chassis, full fiberglass, has fast charging, standard J1772 setups are well, absolutely fantastic indeed. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey BC, I would have been your new #1 customer. It was me who scored the 515 million, says Warrior Fella. I can still help you. If you have any bills, the team and I would be more than happy to assist you. No problem whatsoever. We do crazy stuff here and we're not afraid of the unknown. Is the inline six counterproductive for companies to use because it's too reliable, causing them to lose money? No. Not only do companies who love building cars that are quite potent, like an inline six that's quite popular for its reliability is the 2JZ from Toyota. That engine is great. It's really solid, amazing indeed. Some of the challenges where you may see newer inline sixes or other engines that don't have the reliability of yours is cost-cutting opportunities or emissions or sound. So those are things that manufacturers have to continue to find ways to be able to squeeze better profits, to meet current sound and emission standards. There's so many reasons. It's not causing them to lose money. If anything, a majority of manufacturers do make a lot of money in being able to supply components that maintain said old engines. It's just the way things are nowadays. Not only in cars, but silly things like stoves and refrigerators. Remember refrigerators our grandparents would have and they would last forever? And then today you could get a Frigidaire or some other brand and you use it and in 5 years it's done. Yeah, it's just, back in the day, things were made a lot more robust than they are today. And same thing with your cars. I mean, I see vehicles that fall apart in 10 years and then we constantly still build old Porsches. Rumor has it over 85% of the 911s ever made are still on the road today. Crazy, right? But would that be the same with the new 992? Would that be the same with the new Taycons? Would those cars still be around running strong as ever 30, 40, 50 years from now? Who knows? Who knows? If you had to get a new 2025 model year car for yourself, what would you get, says Gamma Squeeze. I'm intrigued by something that Johnny Lieberman posted today. And it is a Porsche Taycan Turbo S. Stand corrected. Porsche Taycan Turbo GT W Weissach edition. That thing looks awesome. Imagine this, a four-door sedan that was designed to beat this Plaid here. I think in Nürburgring it did like maybe 13 seconds faster than the Model S Plaid. While compared to a previous generation Taycan, which is Turbo S, I think it was over 30 seconds faster in that indeed. So it's pretty crazy. It's just an amazing vehicle. Four-door sedan, no back seats, sub 2 seconds 0 to 60. Outperforms the Plaid and the Lucid Sapphire Air, but it's a Porsche through and through. That's something I'd like to do. I'd like to explore that indeed. That'd be really cool. I even went on Johnny's post on Instagram and say, I must have this. It's really cool. Looks really cool indeed. So that's Gamma Squeeze's car right now, brand new 2025, that I think will be a lot of fun that I want to explore. It's like a two-seater, four-door Taycan that's very rare. It'd be pretty cool. Free reduction is the best reduction, says Boy Toy Click. Amen, brother. I appreciate that indeed. Electric cars, even Porsche, won't be worth anything, says Porsche Past. That could be said by a lot of vehicles. Remember the 944? 928s, 924s, 914s? Those cars, especially 944s, I don't want much. They're Porsches. I love Porsches, right, as a brand. Those cars don't worth a ton. Even the 911 that's so worshipped nowadays, I purchased 911s for $2,000, you know? But thank you nonetheless, Porsche Pass, for the #2 gifter badge. Appreciate the kind words indeed. I just like to have fun. I am not the type of person to politicize EVs. I just like to go fast. And the older I get, the less I need crazy loud noises. I like the original sounds that come from EVs. I love the zero emissions and the lack of guilt that I feel from driving them. They are fun and quick. I love being able to take this Plaid to the racetrack, drive there with full AC, put down some 9-second, low 9-second, high 8-second runs, quarter mile, 6.0, 6.1 runs in 8th mile, and then beat a bunch of trailer cars and drive home with my AC and street tires. I cannot build a 9-second street legal vehicle the same price I can pay for this Taycan. Not this Taycan, I keep saying Taycan. Taycan on the brain, right? This Plaid. So that being said, guys, you think about it, it's about winning. I just want to win, go fast, and I appreciate it. I mean, right here is my petrol 935. I love that. It's a lot of fun. But the EVs, from the first time I drove the very first K3V, I've been in love. Just amazing. Doesn't leak. Don't have to worry about emissions. It's more cost effective doing an EV conversion to make north of 600 horsepower than it is to build a 600 horsepower petrol 911. It'll cost more and won't pass emissions and could leak and smells when you get out the car. Anyway, I can get into it. I appreciate all of them, but right now I'm on a big EV kick. But thank you, thank you, thank you. Electric cars are worse for the environment, says Porsche Past. I may respectfully disagree with you. As a chemical engineer, I've done the analysis myself. I really beg to differ. By the way, most modern petrol cars also use lithium-ion batteries. If you're concerned about cobalt that is used in the manufacture of current day batteries, which is changing by the way, cobalt is also used, as we as chemical engineers use in refineries, to be able to purify standard crude oil as well. There's also significant detriments to the environment by drilling and taking a fossil fuel that is not renewable. Above and beyond that, you have to transport the fuel after and before refining. I don't want to get on a soapbox talking about that. Every type of propulsion has its pros and cons. And if you're really against the battery technology, maybe you shouldn't be using a cell phone or a laptop or a smartwatch. They all have the same type of battery technology. So I beg to differ. And taking a step further, what we're doing here at Bisimoto Engineering, we're taking beautiful classic cars and upcycling them. We are using components that exist and having less of a carbon footprint and bring those to light and making them a lot of fun. But thanks for your input indeed. Appreciate that, you know. Are you familiar with the company called Group 14? Says J Panda 108. No, I'm not, but he was a chemical process technician for them for a while. Very nice. We turned plastic into pure carbon and used silicon oxide to use it for, what was that? Cathode material. Very, love the tech. I did a lot of my work in high performance liquid chromatography in the pharmaceutical field, and then branched over into R&D even further, and then got into sales and just loved it. But raced cars the entire time I was having fun in that particular sector. Wow, time is flying. I can't believe we're already almost an hour into this. I appreciate you guys, but thank you so much. Bags are crazy, said Tumbleweed. I concur. Nah, whoever started the trend, all-wheel drive Coyote F-150, bless them, but those things are way too fast, says Ashton Campbell. If it's not terrifying you, it's not fast enough. But I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you so much, bro. Well said about batteries. BC says Gamma Squeeze. Thank you so much. Appreciate that indeed. I agree with Taycons are cool. Think you ever model one with a central driving position? That'd be cool if we can build one like our 986s. I would love to take a Taycan and make a center seat. I love how you think, Gamma. Gamma Squeeze, I love how you think indeed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm all for it. Do you enjoy these new electric builds more than traditional engine builds? Greyline 3, I enjoy them all. I really do. I don't know if it's Greyline. I think that's a proper way of saying a thing. I do enjoy our builds, petrol and electric. I like petrol engines because it really helps me push the envelope and find ways of making it more efficient. I like the sounds and smells, especially when it's ethanol based. I love how burnt ethanol smells. It's great. But when it comes to acceleration, I can't shake a stick at the acceleration that this Plaid has, or some of the electric conversions we have in Porsches. In my opinion, what Bisimoto does with classic Porsches to electrify them is perfection. It really is. You are able to sit in a car and it smells like an old Porsche, feels like an old Porsche, but when you step on that pedal to your far right, it is terrifyingly amazing. It's just so much fun. And you can have conversations in the car. Well, in some of my builds, because on the 935s, the cockpit is also directly connected to the engine bay. So it has a loud kind of supercharger whine to it, which is quite intoxicating. It's different. And I get the people who hate on EVs. I totally get it, because I was one of those people. And you know why I hated on EVs? Because I had no exposure to performance EVs. Prior to that, the closest thing I saw with an electric car was like a Leaf, and it was boring. I had a friend who came by with Model S. I had no interest in exploring that with David. I had zero interest at all. I reluctantly built the 935 K3V and my life changed. It is, I can't even put words, it's amazing. Guys, it's so much fun. And this is coming from a guy who was a diehard petrol head. I hated EVs. Any one of you, friends and family, that feel you're anti-EV, I guarantee I was worse than you. I hated it. I used even Tech2sDay to talk crap about them. I just didn't know any better. I regurgitated what I heard from media. I regurgitated what I heard from other people. I regurgitated the hate I heard from others. I just perpetuated it. No soul, I was right there. You know my K3V has more soul than James Brown. That's how amazing that thing is. It's just fantastic. So that being said, I get it. I get the hate. I was right there until I experienced it firsthand. And believe it or not, majority of my customers here, with exception of maybe, I guess Jeremy may be the only client of mine. Maybe Jeremy and Matt, maybe the two clients of mine who never drove mine. But the blue 72 that's right here, they're working on, even the gray 930, these are wonderful individuals who came here for a petrol build. And I said, hey, here's the keys to my K3V, just drive it and come back. One of the clients, potential clients, drove around the back, like, shut up and take my money. The other guy drove and was gone for, like, I'm not exaggerating, guys, almost an hour. And I was kind of scared. Like, did he wrap around a pole? Is he okay? He was just having so much fun that he said, that's it. Porter's like, that's it. I want that. I don't want my air cooled. I'm gonna get rid of it. I want that. And that's it. So what is my advice to all of you? Have an open mind. I failed there, but now I know better. Learn from my mistakes. Yeah, I know it's cool to talk crap. I see some of my friends like Ryan from Rywire who posts his electric Civic and he just has a slew of vomit emojis. I don't get that. I get the fact that some people are, but have you ever driven a proper performance EV? And I'm not saying a stock Model 3. I know I'm talking a lot now, guys. I'm not talking about a stock Model 3. Because a Model 3 is akin to, a Model 3 or Model Y base is akin to comparing all petrol cars to a RAV4 Toyota. Imagine if you had to compare a fully built V8 Nova, or we're talking about Coyote engines, a proper Coyote build, a Ford GT, a Corvette, Chevrolet Corvette. Imagine saying those cars are the exact same thing as a RAV4. It's not. Those are not. RAV4s are boring as hell. There's a white one up front that we have. It's just, you drive it, it's like just getting you point A to point B, right? I feel the same thing with a Model 3. Even though those can be fun, it's just a point A, point B vehicle. But imagine a performance EV. So imagine a performance Lamborghini or performance Ferrari or Honda that's fully built, or even my Odyssey that's a lot of fun. But compared to one of my performance EVs, that's fun too. So I'm just asking for, and I see even Fuentes is saying, no one cares, combustion engines go vroom. Fuentes, I hear you. I was the same way. I'm ashamed that I was that way before. I'm not anymore. It's actually fantastic. It's actually an opportunity to embrace technology and just let's live life. Guys, let's live life. That's all I can say. And on that note, I'll bid you guys farewell. Thank you so much for interacting with me on this wonderful Tech Tuesday. It's a blast talking to you guys about all types of technologies and for you being open to all the projects we have coming our way. If you didn't care about some of the things I had to say, you wouldn't even join me on this excursion. So I appreciate each and every one of you very dearly. If there's one bit of advice I can impart to you guys today, is to have an open mind. And to also commit to you that the team and I, we keep building wonderful applications for enjoyment and activity, no matter the propulsion. Whether it's alcohol propulsion, petrol, electric, hybrids, we'll make it fun and keep building away. All right, guys, have a pleasant afternoon. Look forward to seeing you same time next week. Take care and stay safe. Cheers. Bye-bye.